Sun in 12th house. Sun in 12th house is a placement which gets a lot of flack from the astrological community, even traditionally and even in today's times, because Sun in 12th house is not considered strong. Sun in 12th house is placed in its, according to Vedic astrology, Marna Karaka position, which means that the Sun is weakest in the 12th house. And there's a logic, I'll explain to you why. See, the entire sky in the Vedic astrological birth chart is mapped from the perspective, reference point of the observer. Okay, so the mid-heaven, if I'm standing here right now at this moment, if we were to cast a chart, the mid-heaven would be whatever's there right above the sky at this moment. Okay, the ascendant would be whatever's rising on the east, whatever star is rising on the east, that would be the ascendant, star, planet, whatever. And the west would be the descendant, that is the 7th house. Okay, so that's how a chart is cast. So if you were to take Sun in 12th house, Sun in 12th house is just above the horizon. Just above, It's not in dawn state, it's a little bit around about at the level that it has around about 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Okay, if you notice wherever you live, that is when it's the most difficult to spot the sun. You know that it's morning, but you cannot see the sun. It's hiding behind trees, buildings, some structure, right? That is why the 12th house is assigned the energy of everything that is hidden. It has a lot of potency and value, but it's hidden. That is the assignment given to the 12th house. Now, it is a house at a spiritual level which is within the chart, but it represents everything that is outside the chart. For example, submarines are the 12th house, because submarines, they function, they exist within this Mrityuloka, within this realm of the things that we can see, touch, feel and sense, but it's in a world of its own. So many, meters below the ocean floor, and it's completely hidden. Inside, it's a completely different world. Same thing with ashrams, same thing with caves, same thing with recording studios, or you can say, the Oval Office, the President's office in the US, or similar offices of high dignitaries, because it's a world of your own. Embassies are also seen, that's why, through the 12th house. It's a world that you cannot see. It's functional, but you cannot see. When you put the sun here, your confidence is derived from a lot of things that people cannot see. Maybe you have hobbies that make you very happy. Maybe you like reading. Maybe you like music. Whatever you like, the set of things that you like, which give you confidence, are things which are a bit laid back, which are a bit in the background. Maybe you also are a person. You can be very expressive, very creative, but you are most confident when you are able to work by yourself in your own world without disruptions, without noise, without distractions. That's the kind of personality you have. Now, the effect of having such a personality is what? That a person will avoid excessive social, connections or interactions. A person is probably going to avoid doing the things that are necessary to be done. For example, going to the market and buying grocery, or let's say driving in traffic to a destination. Sun in 12th house person wants to avoid these things at all costs, because these people they want to stay in the background. They want to enjoy life. They're very happy people, actually. They just want to do their own thing. The problem is that these habits can take a turn for the worse. What will happen if you are spending most of your time at home, avoiding even the basic things that you need to do, when you're procrastinating? Because you're procrastinating because you can see everything clearly, you can feel it in your mind, it's very clear to you, right? Imagination is not a problem. Knowing what to do is often also not a problem. It's the execution part where you probably don't get that much happiness. Because it's sun, it's your soul. Your soul is naturally spiritual in the 12th house. Your soul naturally knows that it has come from a different place and it is headed back to that different place. Sometimes this can be so much that these people then lose connection from reality. That's the malefic influence of this placement. It's a great placement. Okay? People say this placement causes problems to the father, death to the father. All of that is crap. No. It's just an expression, just a way of saying. You have to decode what it's trying to say. Yes, it can cause some alienation with the father. Obviously. Think about it. Kids who are withdrawn, who have their own world, who do things their own way, they kind of want to, maintain a difference, a set of how do I exactly put it? They want to keep themselves separate from their father and his legacy because they want to do things their own way. They want to find their own path. Okay, that's right. You may have habits, you may have beliefs, you may have ideas that are very different from what people usually believe in. Yes, that is going to bring about some difference with your father, your family name. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's doing some sort of physical harm. Unless there is involvement of the nodes or the nakshatra placement is very problematic, then maybe you can have these situations as a result of something. But mainly, Sun in 12th house is representative of a soul that is very well aware that this life, no matter how wonderful, is after all just a simulation. It's a physical experience. Okay? And therefore, sometimes it may become disconnected with the necessary things that are required to sustain this physical experience. That can sometimes cause mental health problems. For example, one notable personality in this case would be the famous writer, Nobel laureate Ernst Hemingway. I mean, if we take Ernst Hemingway's example, he had the sun in his 12th house in the birth chart, and you will see that it's a great specimen for just about the range of effects that this placement can give. So Hemingway started his career as a journalist. Then, he went to serve in the war, the First World War. He went overseas to fight in Europe. That was an experience. And it's over there that he wasn't even, enlisted in the US Army because he had poor eyesight. But he still found a way that I want to somehow, be a part of what's going on in the world. And he found the job as an ambulance driver with some sort of an organization, something kind of like the Red Cross. Okay, it was like a doctor's voluntary organization of some sort. And over there, he won awards for his bravery because apparently, once they got under heavy fire, there was a lot of destruction all around, and it's through all of that chaos that he was successfully able to save 7 or 8 Italian soldiers. He was even awarded for that. Okay, so you can see, bravery being shown in adverse kind of circumstances, because the sun is a noble planet. The sun is bravery as well. Mars is bravery, yes, but sun is bravery as well, because sun is the king. Okay, it has the ability to make the sacrifices at the spiritual, material, physical, all levels. It's just that we see mostly at the spiritual level the effect of the sun. And then from there he became a novelist, and the end part of his life, Ernst Hemingway spent alone. He created a lot of great works of art, but he finally killed himself after a period of mental illness. I don't really think it was like schizophrenia or something. Mental illness, more like he started living a very withdrawn life, and who knows what kind of PTSD he had because of the war, because he did. And on one of the occasions, I remember reading about it, that Hemingway, when he came back from the war, he was like 20 years old or something, and his knee started bleeding, and he did not know how to react. I mean, he was just like staring at his wound. And this trauma stemmed from his experience in the war, where he was surrounded by people who did not speak his language. I mean, Italians, right? And he was wounded, and he did not know what the doctor was saying in terms of his leg. Would it be amputated, or would they leave it on? What would happen? So the trauma of being in a completely foreign environment and not knowing what to expect stayed on with him through quite a bit of his life. And you see how many times he changed the roles that he took up. From a journalist, he went to being a soldier. From there, he went to being a novelist. From there, he wrote a lot of short stories as well. Used to live by himself. That is kind of what the sun is capable of giving you in terms of a vivid imagination, behind the scenes bravery, the ability to let go of many personalities in this single lifetime and play different roles. That's the kind of trajectory you can see with the sun. But it can spiral out of control, as you see here with the mental health and the suicide part. Positively, if you take the example of Meryl Streep, she also has sun in the 12th house, and you see that what is she good at? She's an actress. That's what she does, She plays different characters. She releases her own innate nature as much as possible to embody the characteristics of the character, the protagonist. Okay? But there is a level of sadness which is often associated with the sun in 12th, because at the end of the day, spiritual progress and spiritual awakening is going to happen through painful circumstances in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be pain in a physical sense of losing somebody, but it can also be, emotional pain of not being able to execute something that that you wanted sometime. Maybe you wanted to, let's say, be an IAS officer, and somehow you weren't able to crack the exam, whatever went bad in your life, and then you made peace with that, and let's say you went ahead and you joined the corporate world and you began doing well and you began doing great, but that was something that you had to overcome. Okay, so quite a few times you will see that people with sun in the 12th house, they are great with behind the scenes communications. They shine in circumstances where they can be alone. They don't need the help and support of people eventually in life. Early on it's difficult. Eventually these people become the kind of people who are very strong. They're able to go through things on their own. They're able to do things on their own. They're very independent. They have a very no BS kind of perspective towards life, because they understand that at the end of the day it's just all something that is going to go away. So this can also make you involved in healing professions, because sun is your life force, and the 12th house represents everything that is not in this realm. So it represents sleep, it represents imagination, it represents sex, it represents space, all of those things. When the sun is here, it shows that a lot of your life force is directed into realms that normal people can't see. Okay? So it is often, these people can shine as writers quite often, and they're not even using their real name on their books. That's the kind of fame that can come to these guys. Or let's say they're talking about something spiritual. Like I am making this video online talking about spirituality. Quite often that can be the case. Or they are influencers. Quite often you can see it, because yes, you see it online. You see it beyond the veil of Maya. You don't see it in reality, right? Because in reality that would be sun in the 10th, something that you can apparently see. So this is a very creative, very contemplative, very philosophical sort of placement. If it's giving you trouble, if this placement is giving you trouble, then you're probably not channelizing it well. You're probably envisioning success in the way that normal people envision success, and that is not going to be something that is going to be satisfying for you. If you want this placement to work for you, you need to look at life from the perspective of its spiritual purpose more than anything else. And spiritual purpose does not mean that you're not going to be rich. Spiritual purpose does not mean that you're not going to make money. That's stupid. No. Mukesh Ambani is one of the richest people in the world. Do you think it's not his spiritual purpose to make money? It is. That's what his soul, that's the experience his soul chose in this lifetime. Anything you're the best at, there's a 90% chance that your soul chose that as your spiritual purpose in this lifetime. Okay? So, sun in 12th house can make a person great provided that this person is consciously connecting with their spiritual purpose. If you run from who you know you're supposed to be, which you're best at, life's not going to work out for you. With this placement, you have to play the cards you're dealt as if they were the cards you wanted. Okay? So that is a Sun in 12th house for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you never miss all the great content that I post here. Push the bell icon so that you're notified every single time I post. If you want a personal session with me, you can check out the link given in the description box. It'll take you to my website. You can fill out the form and then I'll reach out to you with an appointment. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care. Hari Om.